welcome to day 28 of my 28-day British accent challenge. So if you've gone all the way through from day one, you should have a really nice, complete understanding of what it takes to develop a British accent. Today, as we did yesterday, we're going to do a bit of a review. So we're going to have a look at some aspirated consonants. The reason I've chosen to look specifically at the aspirated ones is because they're the ones that cause the most problems. So an aspirated consonant, as perhaps you know by now, is one where the air passes out of the mouth. So the main muscle you need to develop in order to perfect this when you're speaking is to stifle a smile. When we stifle a smile, we bring the cheeks in slightly to touch the teeth. And this controls the airflow and it stops us from losing all of our breath in one go. The main mistake that people make when pronouncing an aspirated consonant is to allow too much air to pass out of the mouth. And so this one little technique will help you a great deal. So before we even begin, I'd like you to stifle a smile and hum. The reason this exercise is so very useful is because you're controlling the airflow whilst also creating some sense of expansion in the cave area, and you're using your voice there, which is very much what we need to be doing when we're speaking. So I'm going to go through a few words. We're looking at h, as in home, hope, habit, help, and p, as in people, pattern, post, and also t, as in time, took, take. So we're going to start with the H. Now, one of the best tips I can give you to improve your h consonant is to stifle a smile slightly, whilst also lifting your palate. Focusing on that area is actually just enough. It's about taking your attention away from the rest of the mouth in order to kind of control and channel the sound into these cavities at the back of the mouth. So when I pronounce the H consonant in the form of a word, I'm lifting slightly and I'm pulling in slightly. Help, home, hype, heap, habit, hockey. Now, saying a lot of these kind of words in a row is obviously quite challenging because we're controlling the airflow, and yes, we do run out of air eventually. So it's going to be normal for you if you struggle to do the whole massive list in one go. You might want to pause and do a bit of a warm-up in between each repetition, in between each word. And now moving on to the p, people. It's actually quite similar to the h, as in home, because the same rule applies. You need to stifle a smile and focus on lifting the palate area. So it should feel like the sound is traveling up and back. And obviously we're using the lips. People, ponder, perhaps, pattern, pot, pan, pond, puddle. And like I said before, when you repeat these words, you might find it a bit more challenging. So again, it's unnatural to have such a long list, so many words in a row containing the same consonant sound. So do feel free to stop, to do a bit of warm up. You can stifle a smile and hum, for instance, or even do some exaggerated chewing and humming. Or even chant a vowel. And then come back to the words. People, pot, person. Okay, so moving on. The next sound we're going to look at is the consonant sound t, t, t. And again, it's an aspirated sound because that's what we're looking at today. The thing that can go wrong here is you could position the tip of your tongue too close to your teeth. So it doesn't matter how far away from your teeth it is, it just has to be as far away as possible. It must not touch them. So technically, we place the tip of the tongue on the tooth ridge, which is the little bar just behind the front teeth. But you could even place it slightly on the palate, and that's fine if it feels comfortable. You just have to keep it away from the teeth, okay? There are a couple of reasons for this. One is you're going to get kind of whistly, breathy, rush of air kind of sound if it touches your teeth. The other is that also it can bring the resonance of the rest of the word too far forwards in your mouth. So you want to be placing the tip of the tongue back in order to help your resonance to be further in the cavities at the back of the mouth. You need it to be resonating right back here, and you'll find that this little trick will work for all consonants where the tip of the tongue is supposed to touch the tooth ridge. So it's a good one to remember. Let's have a go at some words. Time, test, take, television, touch, tip, tongs, tamper. Now you can also just practice the consonant on its own. T, t, t. You'll notice that I also use my muscles here for this sound. So with all aspirated consonants, we're stifling a smile. With this one, we don't need to focus on lifting the palate. It's not going to help you there, but just stifling a smile slightly. So the same warm-ups apply. You can stifle a smile and hum. You can chant vowels. You can also work the tip of the tongue, because obviously we're using the tip of the tongue on the tooth ridge. If you find the muscles in your tongue are not strong enough, you can practice holding up a little sweet or anything really that's not going to dissolve too quickly on the middle of the palate, like this. And you just want to do that for as long as you can, so it's really holding up this item. Typically it's a little sweet like a Haribo in the very middle of the palate, but you can obviously use other things, a little piece of fruit, whatever works for you, and hold it up. 3 times a day is great. That's why, you know, the sweet might not be the best option. You might not want to eat sweets 3 times a day. But anyway, that's a good one for exercising the tongue to make it stronger. So that's a great tip for anyone who struggles to control their tongue and the movements of their tongue. Some people find it doesn't go directly towards the tooth ridge as it should. So you'll know if this is the case for you. So when you've had a go at some words and you've had a chance to practice the sound, then you can move on to the sentences. It tastes perfect. Now, as you probably remember from the lesson on glottal stops, we don't need to pronounce the T in it because we've got a consonant beginning, which is also a T, in tastes. It tastes perfect. So we use the glottis there. It tastes perfect. Too many people take too long. We picked him up from the airport. Have you got time to help me? And again, I didn't pronounce the T at the end of got because again, I had another consonant beginning for the word afterwards. Time. Have you got time? Have you got time to help me? If I slowed down, it would probably sound a bit robotic and I'd end up with, have you got time to help me? And it also doesn't sound quite as polite or relaxed. So remember the glottal stops, and if necessary, just go back to the lesson on that. Thank you so much for following me for the 28 days of the 28-day challenge. And there'll be more to come, there'll be other lessons, but you can repeat this challenge as many times as you like. And as always, if you like this video, please do like it. And if you would like to further develop your British accent, you know where to go. In the comments box below, there is a link where you can get your 7-day free trial to Fran's British accent, and you will have access to over 60 videos in the membership area. You'll have full access to everything, and you'll also be invited to any coaching calls that are coming up. There are generally 2 coaching calls per month. Currently, they take place once a month on a Saturday morning and once a month on a Sunday morning, but this could change in the future. Thanks so much for following me. Thanks so much for watching, and I really do hope that you enjoyed the challenge.